Okay. Well, let me first say good evening, and thanks to the men and women in blue here for all they do. And thank you, Ro, for inviting me to comment. A couple of things have happened since Ro invited me, and I agreed to come tonight, not the least of which was the remapping of the districts throughout New York State. New York will go from 29 members of Congress to 27 members of Congress. And what happened was a federal master, a federal judge, created the congressional districts because of the inability of there to be an agreement with the legislature that the governor would sign. And after creating the voting rights districts, which are in the counties of Brooklyn, Manhattan, and Bronx, and starting with congressional districts out in Long Island, the federal master took pretty much a cookie-cutter approach and just created block districts. And the district that I'm presently in, the 7th congressional district, will now become the 14th congressional district. It will go from being a majority Bronx district to a majority Queens district. It was a 64.5% roughly Bronx district, and now will become a 69.5% Queens district. Within that, though, the communities that I represented in Middle Village and Maspeth, for the most part, will be cut out of this district and put into the new 6th congressional district that's been created by the federal master as well. So I lose some of the areas that I've represented now between the Assembly and the House.
You're not having Maspeth anymore?
I don't think of having any at all. No, none of Maspeth. I down to the bottom of the hill. I don't think I have calendars. I have a little bit of Grace Avenue. I may have the Jewish cemetery. And then I have but then I go north.
That's a lot of voters, right?
I have a Catholic cemetery too, that doesn't like it, so it's okay.
So you have support of Winfield though, but the daughters?
I don't have Winfield. I have Winfield daughters. I've lost part of Woodside as well. I've lost the Winfield section of Woodside, but I have most of Woodside proper on the map in the district. It also picks up just about all of Sunnyside now, and it adds now into it Northern Astoria, as well as just about all of Corona. And also adds in Melba, up next to Whitestone and College Point. And then
What an extreme.
I'm sorry? I have a bit of Elmhurst too.
South Elmhurst?
Not South Elmhurst. Not South Elmhurst, more Northern Elmhurst. I believe, right? What I can do is, you can get the map.
That's the way it looked on the map,
On the
that
left,
will change,
left.
so. They're basically gerrymandering the district so certain people could get
Oh,
elected.
it wasn't gerrymandered. It was done by a federal judge. Well, there was no input. We couldn't, the legislature didn't do it. And the judge was bound by federal guidelines as it pertains to voting rights. I mean, the reality is, if I wouldn't have done it this way. I would have had Maspeth, I would have had Elmhurst, Woodside, the areas that I'm familiar with. I'm actually losing the familiar areas and I have to gain Corona, where I'm less familiar, as well as Northern Astoria, which I haven't represented before. I also lose, as I mentioned, the areas where I lose population are really in the Bronx. I lose Co-op. This district presently goes all the way up to Co-op City. Wow. And I touch on the Westchester County border. I also lose Soundview and most of a good portion of Castle Hill. If I had my druthers, believe it or not, I would have kept the Co-op City because it was actually pretty self-contained and easy to kind of address some of the issues there. Easier, I should say, never
All right,
easy.
so pretty much we're all gonna have somebody new, and we'll find out about that eventually.
Yeah, eventually. So I just wanted to bring you up to speed on that, but I do want you to feel as though you can call upon me and be helpful. I want to do that wherever I can do that. In terms of the do not call that's been going on by energy companies.
Telemarketers and energy
The
companies?
deregulation of energy, which allows for companies to compete with the energy companies in our community. They're overly aggressive, and they're going door to door. Some are very rude. Others are doing telephone calls. the PSC, it's not the federal level, it is on the state level, the Public Service Commission, and you know, you and I worked on them before when I was in the State Assembly on COMET. And we can do it here as well. What I think we should do is get down for your meeting, a representative from the PSC, to find out exactly what you can do to stop the harassment. Because